Welcome back. Today we are camping in Frontenac Provincial Park, doing a little bit of backcountry winter camping. So I'm here at the parking lot here at the Kings Dam Road. We're going to hike in to a nice backcountry site. It's going to be lots of fun. So here are the sleds. So there's the canvas wall tent, all the gear. That's probably going to go in my back, the backpack at the top. And this is the other sled right here. Got some wood because we can't chop down wood here in a provincial park. So yeah, got all our stuff. Let's get going. I mean, here's all our stuff, but you can get a lot of stuff at really good prices at Princess Auto. They've got sleds on sale right now, lots of paracord and just camp tools like knives and fishing gear and things like that. So go check it out. Lots of good sales on now. Royce is my assist up this hill. It's the main hike kind of in here. This is a heavy load. So the tent and the dog help yank me up. Well, time to get back in shape. New year, new me, right? Well, let's take a look at the water. Just came down an embankment there. That was a little rough. So you can see the water is open. Thought I was gonna do a little bit of ice fishing today, but I don't think so. Look at that. This is February, mid-February. This is not good. There's a dam just behind me. So anyways, probably won't be doing ice fishing today. Good boy staying with my pack. It was a little rough coming down this hill. I have to be on leash here in the park somewhat. Hey, but I almost fell on my back. So you're gonna stay off your leash for a little bit. Let's take a quick look at where we are. So we're at the Tutzman, Gibson, and Hemlock Lake Loop. That's the little dam, parking lot, the dam we came across, and right here. So we're gonna head down to 11. That's about a half-hour hike in, and then a lot of the other campsites are quite a ways in there. It's getting later on in the day, so we're just staying fairly close, just to get a little lay of the land. So it'll be lots of fun. So temperature now, it's about -2. Might go in the pluses a little bit today, just barely, and then down to -2 again tonight, so not that bad. Tomorrow, the park office said it might be up to 7 degrees. So that'll be interesting. Sun and cloud, and then some rain will come in actually overnight tomorrow into the following day. So otherwise, winds are a bit high. You guys could hear earlier on, they're about 15 to 30 kilometer winds, 30 kilometer gusting kind of thing. So it's nice here in the woods, so you can get a break from the gusty winds. All right, I've arrived at the site. So you can see behind me, it's a really nice campsite. It's got a little platform behind there, throw a toilet off in the distance there. We are on a beautiful lake up on a ridge here. There is a beautiful fire pit to the right of me. But what a view, eh? Take a look. Very nice. Behind me, a very young sort of hardwood forest back there. So it's a little windy, not a whole lot of pines. There's a few of them around here, but going to set up the tent now so we can get some fire going in the wood stove. And setting up the tent, I've got lots of heavy duty paracord. This is from Princess Auto. They have lots of good selection in terms of that. So 100 feet of it should do me well. Lots of different colors and some with reflectors. I always have a good kit with rope for my tent. Royce is pretty happy to be here. Got the tent all set up. It was a bit of a job, especially because this is on a platform and you're trying to set it up, and there's really no great ways to tie things down. Although thank you to Parks for putting in these little tie downs here. That's awesome. So there we go. We've got the wood stove. Got everything all set up. We're kind of backing on a main trail here, so we see some hikers going through. A lot more sites, obviously, all the way through. Many kilometers in, some of these, but just testing my gear again this year. Didn't get out last winter due to Royce's blastomycosis. This is kind of a big celebration. Here inside the tent, let's take a look. There's a wood stove. My nice little... See? That worked out really good. And there it is. Got our nice Parks approved wood. Can't trek wood in or cut stuff down here, by and large. And then there's all the gear. It's got the bug screen on there. Don't need that, obviously, this time of year, but it's really cozy. Really cold, raw wind out there, so now I just got to kind of set up all the gear. And I'm going to set up Royce's little bed. I decided against the original bedding that I had for him. I got this from Princess Auto. It's just like a waterproof blanket, so it's nice and soft on one side and waterproof on the other, because I figured if we're putting this down in the bottom of the tent, it's going to be a little bit damp. So it's a decent size, and I'll put his regular red blanket on top of him when he sleeps at night to keep him warm. So I'm going to go take a walk down to the waterfront here. Things are by and large set up. See what's going on. Look at this little tiny stream running down to the lake. That's why it's all thawed out here. There's some runoff. Not really tied up. I do not want him going out on this sketchy, sketchy ice. Oh yeah, look at that. Such a shame. I really wanted to get out and do some brook trout fishing. You know, it's not common that I get the opportunity to do brook trout fishing here where I am, but in this park there's lots of brook trout and things like that stocked. But yeah, I'll come back in the spring or something like that. Ugh, too bad. I really didn't get much. I didn't get any ice fishing in this year. Like, it was super sketchy, very poor quality ice. People aren't even like putting out like their big ice shacks and stuff like that, because it's just they can't barely get them out there on the thickness of ice that we have. So anyways, yeah, maybe we'll get a little bit of cool down later on in the season, I don't know, but no, not on this trip. There's quite a few little tracks in here. Looks like we have a little campsite friend. Definitely likes to go in the water. Maybe it's like a mink or something. Kind of lives in these little dens in here. That's pretty cool. I'm excited. Maybe we'll get to see this little critter in the morning. Definitely very active in the last 24 hours in this spot. How cool. Don't know if you guys remember one night when I was doing some hammock camping and heard a lot of noise at night, freaked right out. It was an otter. That I was literally camped in the otter slide, and all night it kept trying to be active and go into the water and stuff, and I was freaking out, like, what the heck keeps coming towards my head by the hammock? And it was actually the otter. I saw it in the morning, basically bobbing up and down. So really funny. So cool. We have a campsite friend here. Maybe we'll see it. So this is the kind of ice we have here. Gray ice, not very good. You need a lot thicker gray ice to support your weight than if it was clear ice, you know. So I don't know. I don't have my axe with me. Well, it's at the tent. I could probably hack around and sort of see how deep this is, but kind of not worth it. You know, people at the park say the water's the ice isn't super thick, so they wouldn't advise going out in the water or traveling by water. There's alerts on that right now, like over the water. So we'll just go along the shoreline here and explore instead. So you see, it's very beautiful in here. You know, there's big granite outcrops. There's some marble as well. There's even some mica mines actually in the northern part of this park. Quite beautiful, actually, the topography here. Now we're getting into a little bit of the pines and stuff like that. That's pretty neat. Kind of reminds me of when I went camping there in the fall. All these big granite cliffs and stuff. These aren't too big. A lot of maple in here. It's kind of maple syrup country. You can just see there, it's just like wind whips through, it's just all hardwood in there. This park's also home to some rare and endangered species. There's also a really cool fen here and a bog. So that's pretty neat. You don't see a whole lot of bogs down this way. Remember, guys, took you guys on a tour of one a while back. These little mosses and things, ferns growing on this little rock ledge here. So I got a mosses and lichen identification book for Christmas, so pretty excited to start using that. That's sort of an area I've just really not educated myself on. So apparently when you look close enough, they're all like so different. So I'm gonna do that, so I'll keep you guys informed on my journey in regard to that. There's some little tracks along the shoreline here. Looks like our little friend Maurice is on the case. He'll find it. Like I said, with his scenting class now, he's just totally into it. Staying as close as I can to the shore here. A lot of cedars above me here. Lovely. Feel like some cedar tea later. And of course lichen. And when you find lichen anywhere, just know the air quality is really good. Lichen doesn't like to grow with air pollution and stuff, so you know when you see that growing everywhere that the air quality is actually lovely. So fill those lungs up. It's nice air out here for sure. Lots of tracks in here. Pretty sure there's a mink in there piddling around the shoreline. It's probably the same one earlier. While they run off there, it's freezing a cool little icicles there. Yeah, they're even melting out. You can see water running down those icicles. There's an open area here under the ice, so I'm really close to shore. You can see I'm right there. And there's like a little opening there. Looks like a little plunge hole or something like that. So I know there's like a lot of activity kind of right under here. Sort of where all the tracks are, kind of in here. So I don't know if it likes to swim around under the ice and stuff. And there's muskrats too around here. I don't know. There we go. We got some grouse tracks. They go all the way through here. A lot of grouse when it's cold will sort of stay underneath the snow overnight when it's really cold. They make these little, just like sort of dive into the snow, and it scares you in the morning because they can just literally surprise them. Boom, they like pop out of the snow. So yeah, that's neat to see them around. Don't hear many birds right now, but it is also the dead of winter. Although I think migrations will start, or probably starting soon. I heard some screech owls doing their breeding calls, so yeah, spring's coming. They nest actually. They start breeding now and they start nesting very soon. The gray jays actually also start nesting in February. So that's pretty amazing. They sit on the nest when it's that cold, incubating the eggs. So I don't know if we'll see any gray jays tomorrow. We'll see sun and cloud tomorrow. Maybe the birds will kind of get out and get more active. So I guess it's time to look at some trees for winter tree identification. Let's take a look over here. So this one right here is ironwood. It's kind of got that little square bark that kind of flakes off. This is really awesome wood for, you know, making tools and stuff. It is like super strong. When you actually use it for firewood, it just burns forever. It's super dense. Quite often when there has been cutting going on, there probably was logging here back in the day. Ironwood will kind of come through. Over here, I'm just gonna, I should have brought cleats. That's one thing. To bring those ice cleats. This is so slippery in here. But let's get over and take a look at this special tree over here. This is white ash. It's one of my favorite tree barks. Like, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful pattern. Beautiful. So I usually find this in the cabin where areas have been a little bit wet. And of course that tree over there in the distance is a white birch. So been finding little bits of birch to sort of start the fire in the wood stove. So excellent fire starter. And as they die off, the woodpeckers kind of have at them and eat the insects and stuff like that. Quite a lot of woodpecker activity in this forest. I have some new equipment coming for sugaring season this year, so you have to stay tuned for that. I'm really excited. It's all arrived. So I'll be doing something a little bit different at the cabin this year. Well, same, but a bit different. So stay tuned. Looks like we made it to the top of a ridge, and Royce is pretty interested. There's some smells. He's picked up the scent of something. The lake is down that way, so we just been kind of walking along the shore of the lake above on these ridges. Just a little spiky ground juniper there. Pretty sharp when you touch those needles. Just sort of hidden among the snow there. There's a little bit more of it over there. These are some fairly large tracks right here. Head straight through the woods. I wonder if it's a pine marten. That'd be really cool. One thing I want you guys to notice about the forest here is there's little to no snow. Like, look down here. You can see the ferns and the forest grasses and the leaves. That's very weird for this time of year. Even down here. The park representative said there was basically a lot of rain and stuff down here. So, away went the snow. It's gone. So that made for a little bit difficult trekking coming into the park. The sleds just dragged along some of these rocks and things like that. So, yeah, pretty tricky going. But I'm glad I just picked the site, you know, about a 30-minute hike in. Just for starters, it's late in the day. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe I should have just picked this one first day and then moved on to the next day and such. But I want to kind of relaxing weekend and not be too stressed about getting there before dark and then setting up the tent. It was a bit of a job to set up the tent, you know. Took quite a while, but I'm happy with how it turned out, considering it's on a platform and not in the woods per se. But you know, it's a bit of a slog. Having no snow really makes a difference for a lot of things. So, really cool thing they have at this park is food storage bins. I have never seen this. We haven't done enough backcountry provincial parks, but it has a special latch here, and you can open this up to store your food. Oh, perfect. Lots of space in there. And yeah, animals have a really difficult time getting in there, and it's far enough away from your tent. So that's pretty sweet. When I camped out in British Columbia, they had these for bears and stuff like that, so that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so I really like that. It looks fairly new. This is the site that's closest to where I say this is Site C. So I guess if you had group camping, it'd be pretty awesome. You get each of these. Or this is not your spot. Hasn't been used recently in the last few days because it's not been scraped off. But yeah, it's got a little bit higher view here. Each side has a little picnic table and a fire pit too, so that's pretty awesome. We'll be probably just using the wood stove tonight. So hiking in, I actually have my mucklucks on underneath here, the ones I made. I have to have overboots because there's water and stuff. I don't want the leather to get totally wrecked. But the only problem with these overboots is that they're slippery. And because things are melting out, and there's like a thin layer of ice under this little tiny crust of snow, I was like slipping and sliding going up the hill. So anyway, but my feet are super warm. I'm happy with my gear right now. Got layers. I've got just like a shirt. I got a wool vest, and then I got my big jacket here, and then I've got some ski pants on just to break the wind. You know, it doesn't totally necessary to have snow pants on, but I'm super comfortable. I've been taking like just wearing a regular hat or just this, or you know, just very light gloves. It's not that bad. It's mainly the wind that's bothersome right now. But it's getting dark pretty soon, so we're just getting all the internal parts of the tent set up, and then we'll cook some supper. Just getting the wood stove started here in the tent. It's going to take a bit of time to get a nice roaring heat in here. I want to get some supper started, so I just got to heat some water. Got some, you know, dehydrated food to kind of reconstitute, so that should be really good. Made some dinners this week at home, and also I got a few dinners as well, so that should be good. Brought in some water here. Gonna start boiling some water for dinner. Lamp on here, water's boiled. Here's some homemade noodles. It's got some noodles and black beans in there, spices, should be good. So I guess I should tell you a bit more about this stove. This is the Danchel wood stove I got for Christmas one year. Super pumped to get it, and it's worked out really well. I know a few of you have asked about it. You know, it has these nesting little tubes that go through, and I made a sleeve for this tent. I bought a little rubber sleeve, and I've got a little fabric there. I made that entry point myself. But yeah, all the stovepipe actually nests inside of it, and it's got these little wings right over here that kind of fold down. But right now I've got some gloves hanging off there, keeping the extra water warm while the meals here are rehydrating. And if you need a bit more draft, you can kind of like pull the tray out or whatever. But right now the wind's so strong. She's going, it's nice and warm in here. I don't have a thermometer, but it's really toasty. Just sort of sitting in the bed here, it's lovely. Got a couple of chairs, so it's kind of like lounging around this tent. Like, I love hot tenting. I love canvas wall tenting. If you have the opportunity to do it, please do so. There's really good ventilation. You know, it's not like a sticky, clammy, yucky winter tent. You know, everything kind of freezes up in here. You can get it nice and warm, and it's so bright, you know, in the morning when the light comes in. And I've also got a window ahead of me. You know, I can kind of change out the cover on the window in the front to make it nice and clear to look out. Or you can even put like a bit of poly across the front, some snaps, and all of a sudden you've got like an awesome view of the lake or whatever you're looking at. So I didn't do that for this trip. That might be my next project for the tent. If you had any doubt that it was like toasty warm in here, look at the metal on the pipe. I'm really glad I put that heat blanket, that heat safe fabric behind the stove. Man, it is awesome in here. It's like shorts and t-shirt weather. Right, dinner is served. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, doesn't that look great? Little preparation goes a long way. So this will be really nice and warm. I've actually been kind of letting it rehydrate, sort of sitting there beside the stove. So it's like not super duper hot on that side, but just warm enough to kind of keep things, you know, from getting too cold. So this is gonna be delicious. Let's give it a try. That's really good. Nice to have something warm on a cool night. Royce is snoring. He's super tired out. Of course, we're here for his birthday celebration. He doesn't know it, but you know, yeah, you've survived to be 3 years old after all you've been through. So he was super pumped, and of course, just, you know, he gets really hyper and goes like tearing around, doesn't know what to do. He's eating all kinds of sticks, which we're gonna pay for tonight, I'll tell you that. Yeah, so he's just completely done right now and is just having a snooze. So we're sitting on top of these lovely FE cots. I cannot recommend cots enough for winter camping, especially when you're in a canvas wall tent. My goodness, so nice. I've got my little pad there that I'm laying on, my sleeping pad, and my Teton bag. I am so warm in here. This is like awesome, like hot tenting in the winter. You can't beat it. Should mention I got these cute little mess kits from Princess Auto. Really like them actually. Easy to clean tonight. Just put some warm water in there, drank it like tomato soup, and then wiped it out with a Kleenex. So they come with a cup, fork, knife, spoon, and then there's like a little wee cutting board and something like a little like a sieve, like drain things. And this is kind of like a plate, and they kind of nest together when you put it together like that. So super easy, really cheap actually. So I've had these for multiple trips and I really like them. Just got a few things to do before bed. I'm not going to have the wood stove going all night long. For one, it won't run that long. These little small stoves you have to feed kind of frequently. But what I want to do is have something, just resources to kind of light things up really quickly. So my birch bark and a few little pieces of tinder here to kind of get things going. Because you don't really want to be doing that in the pitch dark. I've done that before. It's freezing cold. It's -15 in the tent, for example, and you know, you haven't prepared adequately to restart your fire. So I've been there, done that, learned my lesson. Because when you're like that, you're not in a great state of mind. You don't want to sit there and mess around and screw around trying to get the fire started. So best to kind of have a little setup ready, some tinder and some kindling to kind of get things going in the night when it gets cold, so that you can kind of, if you don't feel great at night, wake up, boom, you start the fire, off you go. And then you have some stuff to start breakfast too. So a little preparation doesn't create problems for future you. And it's all about the equipment. Take a look at this beautiful hatchet that I got for Christmas. Forever grateful for that. Take a look. Isn't that nice? Just gorgeous. So it's got a nice little leather sheath for it too. So I'm using that to kind of do my preparations. All right, I am in my sleeping bag, on my cot, on my lovely air mattress, not my camping mat. And man, this is luxury. This is like awesome. So I'm letting the fire kind of die back a little bit. I will not run the fire overnight, as I said. So I've got my sleeping hat on. Got it from Mark's Work Warehouse for, I don't know, they had some sale on at Christmas or something, and sort of got like a warm little fleece liner for the ears, so I can pull this straight over my head. I don't know about you guys, but I just love there's something about having a sleeping cap, right? It just keeps you nice and warm. If your head's warm, your feet warm, you're good. I do have those little like hand warming packs, so I can kind of stuff them in my socks if necessary. And then of course I got the fire ready to go if I get way too cold and like that's not cutting it. I mean, my bag, little Teton there, it's awesome. Like I'm loving it. And I've got this little, you guys can't see it probably, but this little thing right here, that's actually a little heated blanket. So I'm going to try that out tonight. I'll let you guys know. You plug it into a battery bank and it just sort of lightly warms you. It's not like an electric blanket or anything, because you think about it, you just have a little battery bank. You don't want to drain the whole thing. But just to put it on, just to take the edge off periodically in the night. If you need it, have it. So that's really cool. So we're going to try that out tonight. So I'll see you guys in the morning and I'll give you an update if I heard anything weird in the night.